Folks, welcome back to another awesome episode right here on Oregon Adventure. My name is Michael, and in today's video, I'm going to show you my new to me truck. I'm going to tell you guys all the cool features of this truck, what I've done to it so far, and what my plans are for the future, and why this is the best diesel truck that you can buy in 2025. All right, folks, this is my 2005 Dodge Cummins. This has got the 5.9 Cummins diesel engine, and this truck is a beast. So I've got to be honest with you guys. I've wanted this truck for probably about 10 years. This pretty much exact model of truck with the features that it has, and this paint color that I just love. This truck is sprayed in Patriot Blue Metallic, and it's a respray. It's not the original color. The original color of this truck was silver, so it's whatever. And I don't know if Patriot Blue Metallic was offered in this year, but it is on some of the newer Dodge trucks. So the paint is amazing. The truck is dirty, as you can see, but we're getting ready to have about a week's worth of rain, so I'm not going to bother washing it. I've been doing a lot of hunting, and I've done some camping in this truck, and so yeah, you guys get to see it in its dirty stage, but the paint is pretty awesome. Now it's got some scratches here and there in it, and I've been working on doing some buffing on it and getting quite a few of the scratches out, but you know, I'll have to wait on a better day. So anyways, let's jump into it. I'm going to show you guys the engine, the interior, and tell you guys all about it. All right, so for starters, I wasn't a huge fan of the lift that's on this truck when I first looked at it. It's grown on me a little bit, and so have the wheels. I get a lot of compliments on the wheels. These are the XD series. These are 20-inch wheels, and they're wrapped in 37 by 12.5-inch tires. So it's pretty high truck, and it's pretty rough riding. My wife is not impressed with the way this thing rides, but one of the things I did to it right out of the gate was I put new shocks on the front. These are just basic rough country shocks. This is for a 6-inch lift. Now, I'm not positive that it's a 6-inch lift. It might be an 8-inch lift, but again, like I said, I'm not positive. So I'm going to put new shocks in the rear also to try to help smooth it out. Putting the front shocks on made a major improvement. The front shocks were completely worn out, and the eyelets, the rubber grommets, were completely missing. So they were kind of basically rattling around in there, which was not good. This truck has something very special in it that we're going to get to in a minute. Makes the truck totally awesome. So again, going back to me wanting this truck forever, it took quite a while to find. When I did find it, I found this truck in Eugene, which is about 2.5 hours from where I live. And so we drove down there. I had to finance it. I'll tell you guys how much I paid for it towards the end of the video. I got a really good deal on it, I think. You guys can comment below if you think I got ripped off. But yeah, I think I got a good deal on it. And I had to trade in my trusty old Beamer. So no more BMW. And this is officially my new ride for quite a while now. So some of you guys may know I did have another Cummins truck, and that truck was beat to death. It was beat to death when we bought it, but we bought it for dirt cheap, and then ended up putting probably $3 grand into it, I think. And the injectors finally took a crap, so we took it to the shop, and an awesome shop, guys. I'm going to post the shop right now on the screen. One of the most honest guys I've met, and by far one of the most honest mechanics that I've ever met. So if you guys are in the Portland area, I highly recommend getting down there. If you guys have a diesel truck, they work on big trucks and small trucks like this. The guy is amazing and very, very honest. And so basically what happened with my old truck is my wife was driving it. She was running some errands, and it lost an injector, and it was bad. It was smoking like crazy, and blah, blah, blah. So as you guys know, injectors in these trucks are pretty expensive, and they can be detrimental to the engine. And I don't know if the injectors caused the issue with the engine or not, but he did a compression test on 3 of the cylinders, the 3 front ones, and found that cylinder number 1 was only coming in a little over 100 PSI. And I believe Cummins spec is around 300. And so we talked back and forth. We probably went through about 2 weeks of talking back and forth, trying to decide what we were going to do with the truck. It just wasn't worth it. There was a lot of other problems with the truck besides the injectors. And so we even talked about putting some cheap injectors in there with the back compression just to try to get it running so I could get rid of it. And we just decided to dump the truck as is, and he ended up buying it from us. Yeah, so worked out okay, I guess. We lost, but hey, that truck had 310,000 miles on it, and it was a complete mess of a truck. And so I was pecking away at it little by little, but it just wasn't working out. So let's just give you guys a little backstory on my other 2005 Cummins. Some of the plans that I have while we're at the back, like I said, I'm gonna put new rear shocks on it, and I'm looking for an LSD. Now that's one of the things I don't like about this truck is I have no plates yet. I have my plates off my BMW, the discontinued blue plates from Oregon, and those are gonna go on as soon as I get my paperwork from the DMV. This truck has an open diff, and in my opinion, that is just out of control. I don't like it. The truck will break the tires loose so easy when it's wet, and I've been off-roading in it a couple times and it's horrendous. So I found one up in Seattle, and the guy was going to be coming down to Oregon in about a month, and I was going to buy it off him, but he ended up selling it before he got down here. So I'm still on the hunt for an LSD differential for this thing that I'm going to put on it. Another issue that I'm having with this truck is I got like a high frequency vibration at about 60-65 miles per hour, and I believe it's driveline related. Probably going to get the drive shafts balanced and or maybe replace the front axle shafts, and I think hopefully that'll do it. I think the mechanic told me before, because I've already talked to him about this new truck I have, he told me to get the tires balanced first and see if that helps, but I think because it's a higher frequency vibration, I think that it's not in the tires, but I may just do that anyways just to get it out of my head or whatever. These tires are about, what are they? I think they're 4 years old, and they're not totally wore down, but I was looking at them the other day, and here and there you can find a few cracks, but they're in decent shape. I'm not a fan of these tires. I like the BFGs, all-terrains, and I'll be putting those on when these tires wear out. So you can see it's got the bars on it underneath and all that good stuff. When I purchased the truck, it had a straight 4-inch pipe, and it dumped out right here in front of the tire, and it was absolutely horrendous. This truck was so loud, and it's funny because my old Cummins had a 6-inch exhaust on it, straight piped, and it dumped right before the axle also, and it was quieter than this truck. So I don't know why. It's kind of interesting. But anyways, what I did is I sourced a used stock muffler, you guys can see in there, and I installed the muffler myself, and I took some of the scrap pipe and made a little weed burner coming out of the back of the muffler there, and I did all the welding myself and mounted it up. It's in the stock location on the stock hangers, and so I was kind of proud of myself. First time really welding since high school, I think. And it came out great, and it was a little bit of a pain getting it wrestled in there, but I did it, and the truck sounds amazing. Really love the way the truck sounds. You can really hear that turbo, and I'm pretty sure somebody removed the silencer ring on the turbo because it just, I don't know, I love the way this truck sounds. It's got a deep sound, and then you just hear that turbo spooling up and letting off and all that good stuff. So let's pop the hood and check out the engine. All right, so the engine is pretty much all stock except the air intake, which I'm not a fan of. So that's one of the things on the list, is getting a new cold air intake, and I'm probably most likely going to go with the K&N cold air intake system because I had that on the other truck. I kind of like it, but this is kind of janky and it's small, so I don't really know much about this, and I don't think this I don't know, it's just whatever. And the other thing I'm going to do is put the Banks Ram Charger on like I had on the other one. I just think it's a great upgrade you can do, and anything that's related to Banks, there's a lot of research done and all that good stuff. So I think the products are awesome. The other thing I did too is I changed all the oils. So the engine oil, the transmission oil, the transfer case oil, and both diffs. Now I haven't done the power steering or the brake fluid yet, which brings me to the brakes. The brakes are fine, but the parking brake doesn't work, and it's adjusted all the way out. So I'm pretty sure the pads for the parking brake are gone, and I don't want to tear all the brakes apart just to replace those. So I'm probably going to go with some Detroit cross-drilled rotors, and what's those brake pads I like? I forget now. But anyways, yeah, get some upgraded brake pads for it and do the brakes all up and then paint the calipers and everything like I like to do. And I'll go that route, but that might be, you know, after the winter time. So we're doing okay for now. I do need to do a radiator flush. I'm going to do that very soon. Probably eventually get some new batteries. These batteries look pretty old, but you know, there's no starting issues or electrical issues. I just want a peace of mind, so when I'm out in the middle of nowhere, I don't, you know, come to a dead battery or something. But yeah, there you go. One interesting thing here on this truck is the intercooler. Now I'm assuming the intercooler was stock on my old truck, but this is like, it's almost like cast. So I don't know. This AC condenser is kind of beat up or whatever, but somebody wrote Dodge in it, so it's probably from a junkyard or something. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, engine stock. The other thing I did is this truck originally had a big brush guard on it that I didn't like at all. So I took that off, and it came with a couple light bars and light pods, and I mounted one of the light bars here. It's pretty cool, kind of like I had on my old truck. And then what I did that I really like is I replaced the headlights. Now, these are Nightlight headlights, and they are totally awesome. They really update the truck and make it look a little newer, and I'm just really digging them. I actually just got them installed this weekend, so I'm stoked. Now I'm having an issue. This one's coming in a little dim. It's nothing related to the headlights because they didn't come with bulbs, and I had to put the bulbs in. And there were some janky headlights that were in this truck. I'll walk over and show you guys right now. I don't know what the deal was with the wiring, but I ripped so much wiring out of this thing when I put these headlights in. It was unbelievable. There's ballast everywhere, and oh, it was a mess. So I think they had this headlight tied in with that one, or blah 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 or something. I don't know, but I had to go and get a new adapter to plug the headlight in. I don't think the dim headlight is related to that. And I started doing some research, and it's a common problem on these trucks. So it has something to do with the wiring and or the controller. Maybe a bad ground. I just haven't investigated it enough. It's something I'll get to eventually, but I'll show you those headlights. These are what it came with, and they're all just messed up and janky, and only one of them worked. All the bulbs are good, but only one of them worked. It's got the step bars, so it makes it a lot easier to get into and that kind of thing. So let's look at the interior. Start with the bad first. Got one rip in the seat here. So I'm gonna get seat covers to cover them. It's the only rip in the whole interior. But a lot of these cloth seats that I've seen with this truck, with this amount of miles, usually has that. So, and then there's no floor mats. So like I said, the truck's dirty, guys. I've been out hunting and camping and all that stuff in it since I've got it. I've had the truck almost a month. It'll be a month, October 10th. So some of you guys may have noticed, there's the special about the truck. We got 3 pedals, and this has the G56. Now this is a later model, 2005. So 2005 with the G56 is, you know, it's rare that it's a manual, but then it's kind of more rare that it has the G56 in it. G56 basically was introduced in 2006, but some of the later model 2005s came with them. And it's a 6-speed transmission with a very low first gear. It's awesome. It really just, this is, like I said, this is what I wanted. I've always wanted the manual in this color, in this configuration, and I got it. So it's pretty rad. It's got an aftermarket stereo system in it. This Sony thing, it's all Bluetooth, and it has Apple CarPlay, and it's all, you know, it's pretty good. I think this truck used to have a system in it because there was a bunch of preamp wires that I found down there when I was doing the transmission fluid and whatnot. And then, I don't know, things that people do to cars just amazes me. I did not do this, guys, and I would never do something like this to the dash of a car. So I'll probably eventually get rid of this. This is the switch for the front light bar, and this is another switch that goes through the front that powered the other lights on the brush guard. So there you go. Now it's got these cool gauges here, and I think these are called the glow light gauges. Turn this on and see. So these light up. These are nice gauges. We got the exhaust temp gauge right there, and then we got the boost gauge, which is pretty awesome. And you can see the miles right there. This isn't a crazy high mileage truck. So that was one of my criterias when I was buying this truck, is that it had to be a manual transmission, and it had to have less than 200,000 miles on it. Now, I must say, that some of the prices that we came across when we were looking at these trucks was absolutely insane. And I can't believe what some people are asking for these things. So just to give you guys an idea, we looked at a truck in Portland. It's 2006, so 1 year newer. Manual transmission. Now, it did have a couple Banks upgrades, and it did have a tune on it. This truck does not have a tune, so it hasn't been like abused, you know what I mean? They were asking, oh, and it had original paint that was peeling, clear coat in a lot of places, like on the bed and on the hood, and then it had some places where it was cracked on the bed and stuff too. So they were asking $33,000 for it, and that truck had 160,000 miles, so 20,000 miles more, peeling paint, cracking paint, and they were asking 33,000, which is pretty insane. So yeah, there you go. Like I said, it took a while to find the truck, trying to find a manual transmission. And most of them are automatics, and they have over 200,000 miles when you go looking for around this year and that kind of thing. So going back to my original statement of why I said that this is the best diesel truck that you can buy in 2005, you guys are all going to know it. It's the emissions. 2005 was the first year that they introduced catalytic converter on this. Obviously, I said this has a straight pipe on it, so there's no cat on it right now. 2004 didn't have a catalytic converter, so if you're going like full bore for a stock truck, then 2004 would be your model. But there's no def stuff in this thing. There's no EGR stuff to deal with. It's just a regular inline six Cummins that is pretty much bulletproof if you don't have bad injectors. So that's one of the reasons I was stuck on this. I didn't want a truck that had, you know, where I had to put def in it, because that just adds more money, more problems, more everything. And we even talked to a couple dealerships about maybe entertaining the idea of getting a newer one that had been deleted, because I guess you can run them deleted again now or whatever. But again, I just didn't want that. And I kind of like these body styles better. I like the 2004 or 2003 through 2005 body styles. You know, in 2006, they updated the front end. They have the sloped back headlights. But I don't know. I really like this body style. I've always have. There it is, guys. Good truck, good solid running truck. Like I said, I got a couple issues I'm working on, like rear shocks and a little bit of vibration that'll get worked out, you know, eventually. Thinking about putting a camper shell on it like I had on my old truck. I've actually been looking at the soft toppers. I kind of like those. They kind of look like utilitarian style. I don't know. If I come across one, you know, I've come across a couple on Marketplace, but they're just overpriced if they have decent paint on them. And then, you know, finding one that matches this is going to be impossible. So part of me is thinking that I could just find a cheap one and sand it down and then, I don't know, get it painted. But I don't really want to put any of that money into it right now. I want to focus on the things that need to be handled, like the shocks, and I need to get some floor mats and some seat covers to kind of spruce it up a little bit and that kind of thing. Oh, another thing, this truck has the dual disc clutch, so that's another plus. But the problem is it's the older style that's very loud that you guys can hear. So that noise is a little bit annoying, but it's just part of the game. It is what it is, something I got to deal with. All right, folks, so you guys are probably all wondering what I paid for this truck. And like I said, I think I got a pretty good deal on it for the mileage, it being a manual transmission, it having decent paint in, you know, on it. And like I said, you guys can go on Marketplace or look on Auto Trader or whatever, and you guys can kind of see what the prices are on these trucks and kind of get an idea. Now, I know region has a little bit to play, and I've heard that these types of trucks up here in the Pacific Northwest pull a higher dollar in general. I don't know how much truth that there is to that, because I didn't look really out of state when I was looking at these trucks, trying to find something I could drive to and go pick up. Like, you know, we had to drive over 2 hours to go get it, but you know, there's that or whatever. So I paid $18,000 for the truck. I traded in my BMW, so I had a little bit of a down payment on it. Yeah, there you go. I had to finance it, like I said earlier. Don't have $18,000 laying around. And so yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments or about anything, you guys can post them down in the comment section. And like I said, I'll post some Amazon links to some of the stuff that I've done in this truck, like the headlights, which are totally awesome, and the shocks I put on it, rear shocks or whatever. And I'll put maybe a couple links to the K&N air filter or whatever for you guys. So yeah, tell me in the comments what you guys think of my new truck. I'm loving it. I think it's awesome. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the lift, but it is kind of cool. And like I said, the wheels have grown on me. when I first got it. And my wife, she was like, ugh, those wheels are nasty, but I think they're kind of cool. Like I said, I get a lot of compliments on them. So until next time, folks, Oregon Adventure.